We came here by train. Great impressions were waiting for us here. The train was big and full of polite people, and when we got to the city center, we were generally stunned. Greetings, friends. And we are back to you with our reactions from foreigners to our country. And this time, we will start our story with traveling by train, because this is to some extent part of the cultural code of Russians. But Americans are shocked by Russia in this regard. They are not used to this. Road transport has almost killed rail transportation in the States. It is almost not accepted to ride trains there. If it's close, then they'll drive home. Well, if far away, then they will fly by plane. No one wants to mess with trains, and therefore, this direction has lagged far behind in the USA. And the more lag there is, the fewer people who want to go there. And so an American named Donald, but not Trump, came to Russia and took a ride on the Trans-Siberian Railway. After which he shared his impressions for a long time, which he had accumulated a whole spiritual baggage, so to speak. The facts were shared by the channel 1520, all about travel. To begin with, our guest was surprised by the food. Entering the restaurant car, he got into a restaurant with a full-fledged hot kitchen. Fragrant, thick borscht, real cutlets, and so on. When the borscht was not just brought, but everything was laid out as it should be, with sour cream, fragrant rye bread, and pieces of lard, Donald simply precipitated. According to him, in the United States, such establishments are just a snack bar. There, along with the coffee prepared in the vending machine, you will be served some pre-prepared sandwiches, bars, chips, and so on. There is nothing even to dream about a full-fledged hot meal. But the main shock was waiting for him when it was necessary to prepare tea in the compartment. They told him how it is here and how it is customary with us. They said that the hot water was at the end of the car. He went there and ran into His Majesty the samovar. After all, modern coolers are copper, polished to a shine. The main inhabitant of any Russian table made an indelible impression. This is some kind of technical deity from the 19th century. Donald exclaimed when he realized how to extract hot water from the miracle of the device. And the American was also surprised by the order with the service in the compartment. He was not ready for some moments, and the conductor had to give explanations. That's what he says himself. Before departure, the conductor gave me a small package. Inside was a neatly folded sheet, pillowcase, and a small towel. I was puzzled. Why all this? The conductor patiently explained that on Russian trains, each passenger refills his own sleeping place. It seemed strange to me, but following the example of the neighbors in the compartment, I got down to business. The most amazing thing started later, when tea was brought to me. It was served in a tall glass with a metal cup holder, which looked like a museum exhibit. The drink was hot and strong, perfect for a winter evening on the road. Tea accompanied me all the way. But most of all, he was struck by the notorious collectivism and friendliness of the Russians. In American trains, according to him, everyone is on their own. You can exchange a few words, but no one will reveal your soul all the way. In Russia, a shock was waiting for him right from the first seconds. As he writes himself, I expected that the trip would be long and secluded, but this was a big misconception. In my compartment there were two boys about 10 years old, their grandmother. As soon as I had time to say hello, she took out pies from her bag and offered me eat homemade. I was confused, but it was inconvenient to refuse. They turned out to be delicious with potatoes and cabbage. Grandma offered more, and then took out a thermos with morse. An hour later, we were already discussing who was going where, although I didn't know Russian, and she didn't know English. We exchanged gestures, translated words on our phones, and laughed. She told me that she was taking her grandchildren on vacation to relatives, and I shared my travel plans. By nightfall, the boys dozed off, and Grandma also covered herself with a blanket. And I suddenly realized that I feel like a part of the family. In general, traveling on the American railway now seems soulless to Donald, but he really liked the Russian ones. Very warm and very clean, his main impression. And here, perhaps, is an even more vivid and emotional reaction to ordinary hard-working taxi drivers from Russia. And then, at one point my first trip was to Yaroslavl. I remember. I got off the train, got into a taxi, And the taxi driver said to me, "Well, where are you going?" I say, "Here I am at the hotel. Here I am there." He says, "Yeah, good. Well, where did you come from?" I say, "From Moscow." "Oh, and a Muscovite." I say, "No, no, no." I say, "I'm from Serbia." He says, "Oh, so you were in Yaroslavl?" I say, "No, I wasn't." He says, "Well, let's go. I'll show you the city." I think, God, how strange. He wants to show me the city. Probably some dangerous person. Cool that. It's like he just wanted to show me the city. That is, a taxi driver who has to earn money there. He probably has a family, which he feeds and so on. He spends his time trying to show me the foreign women, whom he sees for the first time in his life, the city. And he talked about him so much that I think I only realized and saw to the end what a Russian person is when there is desire, love, and such a soul. It seems to me that everything is possible. This is the actress Tina Stakovich. Not so long ago, she starred in the Russian TV series Offline, the main actors of which are Nikita Efremov and Denis Shvedov. So why are you showing it to us? You ask, because she's Russian, like she speaks our language, without any accent. But in reality, Tina came to Russia from Serbia and did not know our language at all. Although, like many citizens from the Serbian state and ours, I also thought that it would not be difficult. I didn't know Russian at all, but I was still in the Russian class of the philological gymnasium. I was in the group that didn't really study Russian. Well, let's just say, I focused more on Russian literature than on the language. I actually thought I knew Russian then, that is, I think. Oh my God, that's practically the same as Serbian. He's a little bit there and I in this. Well, as all of Serbia, in fact, think Russian. I had to pass the entrance exams, that is, to pass the Russian language orally, to prove that I speak Russian. I really understood a lot, but I couldn't speak at all. I mean, it was just awful. However, despite all the obstacles, Tina decided to continue her film career and associate herself with Russia. According to her, she came to Moscow from Belgrade for a dream. And when asked if her expectations in terms of an acting career in Russia were justified in the end, she answered the following. I was really following a dream. In general, I try to constantly be in development, in search. And I easily accept that my desires can change. That now I can want something different than what I dreamed of for 18 years, for example. And it's beautiful, it's movement, it's life. I am sure that my expectations were met. I received unique knowledge from excellent teachers and colleagues. And this is already dear to me. Acting career gives me pleasure. I'm happy with what I have. With great ambitions, inspiration, and love, I get involved in the work and look forward to new challenges. I really like the scale in Russia. But I watched them, and I was absolutely delighted. That's the truth of the scale. Here is some word about Moscow, about Russia, that hooked me. It's the scale. That's the level of culture. That is, the level of how much opportunities for art are actually given. Because, well, unfortunately, there was no such thing in Serbia then. The girl also said that the development of the film industry in Russia itself has acquired a very huge scale at the moment. And she even said that now many are jealous of the artist's career in Russian cinema. But this applies not only to art, but also to culture, the history of the people, and their cultural direction. Tina even showed by a clear example how Mother Russia differs from the West. Yes, they are jealous. Of course, Russia has such a culture, such a history. I have a lot of friends from France, from Germany, from England here, who live in Russia, love Russia, and they kind of say yes, that there are people there. Well, the people, the common people in general, everyone loves them very much, and everyone is very interested, as it were. If you explain the pantomime, then well, as if the West has some kind of masculine beginning, this is some kind of militant, right, as if he loves. But in Russia, I feel like it's some kind of, well, I don't know, unifying, like some kind of mom. Russia is a woman and Serbia is also a woman. Of course, in comparisons with other countries, it was not without the famous stereotypes about our state. Well, no, this is all a bela like a bear, it's nonsense, of course. We don't have such a stereotype in Serbia. I somehow lived and did not think about how it would be in Russia. That is, everything is somehow, yes, it will be, yes, it will be, and I'm so glad that it's really like that, because when I arrived, it was like a wave for me. We should not forget that our people and the Serbian people are really closely connected with each other. It is not for nothing that phrases often go around among ordinary people that the Serbs are our brothers, our fraternal people. So the relations between these two states and their populations are very warm. Of course, Stokovic couldn't help but mention this, too. Well, we can't be such orthodox brothers. That's what we call each other. We love you very much. Russians are united by this concept, which, well, is like a Russian soul. That is, it is felt. The whole strong country, any strong country, and even stronger people. You see, a strong man, he has big problems because he is so strong. This, I think, is the norm. That is this. It will be so. There is no strong and easy. It doesn't happen. That's when something has some kind of value, scale, and power. It implies some kind of different attitudes to itself. But I, too, can say that when there is a successful artist, not everyone loves him. I would also like to note that we noticed dissatisfied comments under our videos, because some of our viewers do not like the fact that the reaction of foreigners is mainly directed exclusively at our capitals, St. Petersburg and Moscow. It is not for nothing that people say that Moscow is not Russia. They say it is a completely different country. And the impression needs to be made in completely different cities. Consider that we have heard you. How do you like such a track record of a person who speaks so warmly about our country, about our art and local culture? I was in Yaroslavl, in St. Petersburg, in Vyborg Film Festival, in Crimea, in Yalta. I was also in the Caucasus. How did I not say that? I was in Kabardino-Balkaria. I was in Nalchik. I was on Elbrus. And this strikes me most of all, that Russia, as if it is so big and large scale, and everything, well, as if everything is different and it somehow connects. It's cool that so many different things can exist in one. This is the issue that turned out, dear friends. Be sure to write your thoughts in the comments about what was said today. It is very interesting to read your reactions, and we will definitely note the most interesting comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our Telegram and YouTube channels and put a thumbs up on this video to help us promote it. But to finish our video, oddly enough, I would also like to use the phrase "go to Stokovic," so that you really come to understand such people who were not born in Russia, but who really liked it. I'm in my place. There was this feeling that it was my own, that I did everything right, because I really like it here very much. That is me. I don't want to change it for anything else. And it is. This is some kind of crazy love. And here is the desire. It has always given me strength, so that even if it is very difficult, I still walked on and was not afraid that they would not understand me or I was a stranger. They always said to me, "Oh my God, what a foreigner you are." Yes, my own. I love Russia very much. I really want to stay here. I really want to work here. I want to have everything here. Tina Sakovic.